Tonight, playing Agnes,
Liz Bove,
playing Tobias,
Barry Gutman,
playing Claire,
Amy Losi,
playing Edna,
Linda Angrisano,
playing Harry,
David Mackler,
and playing Julia.
Deborah Seidel.
The scene is the living room of a large and well-appointed suburban house. Now, Act 1. In the library living room, Agnes in a chair, Tobias at a shelf, looking into cordial bottles.
what I find most astonishing, aside from the belief of mine, which never ceases to surprise me by the very fact of its surprising lack of unpleasantness, the belief that I might very easily, as they say, lose my mind one day. Not that I suspect I'm about to, or am even nearly.
there's no saner woman on earth, Agnes.
For I'm not that sort, merely that it is not beyond happening, some gentle loosenings of the moorings, sending the balloon adrift. And I think that is the only outweighing thing, adrift. The becoming a stranger in the world, quite uninvolved, for I never see it as violent, only a drifting. What are you looking for, Tobias?
We will all go mad before you. The anisette.
Thank you, darling. But I could never do it, go adrift. For what would become of you? Still, what I find most astonishing, aside, as I said, from the speculation that I wonder, too, sometimes, if I am the only one of you to admit to it, that I may go mad, but that each of you wonders if each of you might not. Why on earth do you want anisette?
I thought it might be nice.
Sticky. I will do cognac. It is supposed to be healthy. The speculation or the assumption, I suppose, that if it occurs to you that you might be, then you are not. But I've never been much comforted by it. It follows to my mind that since I speculate I might someday, or early evening, I think more likely, some autumn dusk, go quite mad, then I may very well might. Some autumn dark. Tobias at his desk looks up from all those awful bills and sees his Agnes mad as a hatter, chewing the ribbons on her dress.
Cognac.
Yes. Agnes sit by the fire, her mouth full of ribbons, her mind aloft, adrift, nothing to do with poor old thing but put her in the bin somewhere, sell the house, move to Tucson, say, and pine in the good sun, and live to be 104. Oh, thank you, darling.
Cognac is sticky too.
Yes, but it's nicer. Sit by me,
To my mad lady, ribbons dangling.
And of course, I haven't worn the ribbon dress since Julia's remarriage. Are you comfortable?
For a little.
What astonishes me most, aside from my theoretically healthy fear, no, not a fear, how silly of me, healthy speculation that I might someday become an embarrassment to you. What I find most astonishing in this world, and with all my years, is Claire.
Claire. Why?
That anyone, be they one's sister or not, can be so, well, I don't want to use an unkind word, 'cause we're cozy here, aren't we?
Well, maybe.
As the saying has it, the one thing sharper than a serpent's tooth is a sister's ingratitude.
The saying does not have it that way.
Should. Why are you moving?
It's getting uncomfortable.
Things get hot, move off, huh? Yes?
I'm not as young as either of us once was.
I'm as young as the day I married you, though I'm certain I don't look it, because you're a very good husband, most of the time. But I was talking about Claire, or was beginning to.
Yes, you were.
If I were to list the mountain of my burdens, if I had a thick pad and a month to spare, that bending my shoulders most, with the possible exception of Julia's trouble with marriage, would be your, it must be instinctive, I think, or reflex, that's more like it, your reflex defense of everything that's Claire.
Stop it, Agnes.
Are you going to throw something at me, huh? Your glass My goodness, I hope not. That awful anisette all over everything.
No,
What then?
I shall sit very quietly.
As always.
Yes, and I shall will you to apologize to your sister for what I must in truth tell you I thought a most.
Apologize to her? To Claire? I've spent my life apologizing for her. I will not double my humiliation by apologizing to her.
One does not apologize to those for whom one must.
Neat.
Succinct. But one of the rules of an aphorism,
An epigram, I thought.
an epigram is usually satiric, and you.
And I am grimly serious, yes.
I fear so.
To revert specifically from Claire to her effect, what would you do were I to spill my marbles?
Put you in a bin somewhere, sell the house.
It won't be simple paranoia, though. I know that. I've tried so hard to, well, you know how little I vary. Goodness, I can't even raise my voice except in the most calamitous of events. And I find that both joy and sorrow work their wonders on me more evenly, slowly, within than most. A suntan rather than a scalding. There are no mountains in my life, nor chasms. It is a rolling, pleasant land, verdant, my darling, and thank you.
We do what we can.
Our motto. If we should ever go downhill, have a crest made, join things, we must have that put in Latin. We do what we can. On your blazers over the mantle. Maybe we could do it on linen as well.
You think I should go to Claire's room?
No. Either she will be down or not.
We do what we can.
Of course. So it will not be simple paranoia. Schizophrenia, on the other hand, is far more likely, even given the unlikelihood I believe it can be chemically induced. If all else should fail, if sanity, such as it is, should become too much. There are times when I think it would be so proper if one could take a pill or even inject, just remove.
You should take pills. You should take drugs, my dear.
But those are temporary. Even addiction is a repeated temporary. Stilling. I am concerned with peace, not mere relief. And am I not a compulsive, like some, like our dear Claire, say?
Be kind, please.
I think I should want to have it fully, even on the chance I could not come back. Wouldn't that be terrible, though, to have done it, induced it, if naturally looked unlikely and the hope was there, not to be able to come back? Why did you put my cognac in this tiny glass?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not a sipper tonight. I'm a breather, my nose buried in the glass, all the wonder there, and very silent.
I thought Claire was much better tonight. I didn't see any need for you to give her such a going over.
Claire was not better tonight, honestly, Tobias.
I thought she was.
Well, she was not.
Still.
Thank you. I have decided, all things considered, that I shall not induce, that all the years we have put up with each other's wives and crotchets have earned us each other's company. And I promise you as well that I shall think good thoughts, healthy ones, positive, to ward off madness, should it come by uninvited.
You mean I have no hope of Tucson?
None.
Tell us.
You have hope only of growing even older than you are in the company of your steady wife, your alcoholic sister-in-law, and occasional visits from our melancholy Julia. That is what you have, my dear Tobias. Will it do?
It will do.
I've never doubted that it would. Hark! Did I hear someone?
Ah, there you are. I said to Agnes just a moment ago.
I must apologize, Agnes. I'm very sorry.
But what are you sorry for, Claire?
I apologize that my nature is such to bring out in you this full force of your brutality.
Look, I think we can do without any of this sort of,
If you come to dinner table unsteady, if when you try to say good evening and weren't the autumn colors lovely today, you are nothing but vowels, and if one smells of vodka on you from across the room, and don't tell me again, either of you, that vodka leaves nothing on the breath, if you are expecting it, if you are sadly and warily expecting it, it does. If these conditions persist, then the reaction of one who is burdened by her love is not brutality, though it would be excused, believe me, not brutality at all, but the souring side of love. If I scold, it is because I wish I needn't. If I am sharp, it is because I am neither less nor more than human. And if I am to be accused once again of making too much of things, let me remind you that it is my manner and not the matter. I apologize for being articulate. Tobias, I'm going to call Julia, I think. It is 1 or 2 hours difference. I can never recall.
3.
Oh, yes. Well, be kind to Claire, dear. She is injured.
Oh, well.
I've never known whether to applaud or cry. Or rather, I never know which would be the more appreciated, expected.
You are a great damn fool.
Yes. Well, why is she calling Julia?
Oh, do you want a quick brandy before she comes back?
Not at all, a public one. Fill the balloon half up and I shall sip it ladylike. And when she glides back in, I shall lie on the floor and balance that on my front. That will give her attention for another paragraph and your ineffectual stop it nows.
You are a great damn fool.
Is Julia having another divorce?
Hell, I don't know.
It's only your daughter. Oh, thank you. I should imagine from all that I have watched that it is come home time. Why don't you kill Agnes?
Oh, no. I couldn't do that.
Oh, better still, why don't you wait till Julia separates and comes back here all sullen and confused and take a gun and blow all our heads off? Agnes first, through respect, of course, then poor Julia, and finally, if you have the kindness for it, me.
Do you really want me to shoot you?
I want you to shoot Agnes first. Then I'll think about it.
But it would have to be an act of passion out of my head and all that. I doubt I'd stand around with the gun smoking, Julia locked in her room screaming, wait for you to decide if you wanted it or not.
But unless you kill Agnes, how shall I ever know whether I want to live? An act of passion?
Well, yes.
Oh my, that's funny.
I'm sorry.
Oh, my darling Tobias, I'm sorry, but I just don't see you in that role, that's all. Outraged, maddened into action, proceeding by reflex. Can you see yourself, though, in front of the judge? Predictable, stolid Tobias. It all went blank, Your Honor. One moment there I was deep in my chair, drinking my... Oh, what is that?
Anisette.
Anisette. Really? Anisette?
I like it.
Sticky. Well, there I was, Your Honor, one moment in my chair, sipping at my anisette, and the next thing I knew, they were all lying about different rooms, heads blown off, the gun still in my hand. I have no recollection of it, sir. Can you imagine that, Tobias?
Of course, with all of you dead, your brains lying around in the rugs, to say it wasn't an act of passion.
Leave me to last. A breeze might rise and stir the ashes.
Who's that?
No one, I think. It just sounds like it should be.
Why don't you go back to your thing, to your alcoholic thing?
Because I don't like the people.
Well, what's it called?
Anonymous.
Yes, that. Why don't you go?
Why don't you mind your own hooting business?
Sorry, Claire.
Because
It was better.
Be a good brother-in-law. It's the first I'm not supposed to have.
I thought it was better.
Thank you. You mean Agnes thought it was better?
No, I thought so too, that it would be.
I told you, not our type. Nothing in common with them. When you used to go to business before you became a squire, parading around in jodhpurs, confusing the gardener.
I've never done any such thing.
Before all that, sweet Tobias, when you used to spend all your time in town with your business friends, your indistinguishable, if not necessarily similar friends, what did you have in common with them?
Well, everything. Our business, we all mixed well. We're friends away from the office too. Clubs are, and an environment, I guess.
Uh-huh. But what did you have in common with them? Even Harry, your very best friend in all the world, as far as you know. I mean, you haven't met everybody. Are you switching from Anisette?
It doesn't go for a long time, all right?
It doesn't matter to me. Your very best friend. Tell me, dear Tobias, what do you have in common with him?
Please, Claire.
What do you really have in common with your best friend, except the coincidence of having cheated on your wives in the same summer with the same woman? Girl, woman, what except that? And hardly a distinction. I believe she was upended that whole July.
If you'll forgive me, Claire, common practice is hardly the
Poor
word.
girl, poor whatever she was that hot and very wet July. The distinction would have been to have not, to have been the one or two of the very, very many, and oh God, similar who did not upend the poor. Unfamiliar thing, that dry and oh so wet July.
Please, Agnes.
Of course you had the want and only once. Well, Harry, good friend Harry, I have it from the horse's mouth, was on top for good and keeps twice with a third try, not so hot in the gardener's shed with the mulch or whatever it is in the orange pots.
Shut your mouth.
Oh, all right. What was her name?
I don't remember.
No matter, she's gone. Or would you give friend Harry the shirt off your back, as they say?
I suppose I would. He is my best friend.
How sad does that make you?
Not much. Some. Not much.
No one to listen to Bruckner with you. No one to tell you he's sick of golf. No one to admit to that. Now and then you're suddenly frightened and you don't know why.
Frightened? No.
All right. Would you like to know what happened last time I climbed the stairs to the fancy Alki Club and why I've not gone back? What I have not in common with those people?
Sure.
Poor Tobias. Sure, light me a cigarette. That will give me everything. Do you remember the spring I moved out? The time I was really sick with the stuff? Was drinking like the famous Irish? Was a source of great embarrassment. So that you and Agnes set me up in the apartment near the station, and Agnes was so good about coming to see me. Sorry.
When will it all just go in the past? Forget itself.
When all the defeats are done, admitted. When memory takes over and corrects fact, makes it tolerable. When Agnes lies on her deathbed.
Do you know that Agnes has such wonderful control? I haven't seen her cry and for the longest time, no matter what.
Warn me when she's coming. I'll act drunk. Pretend you're very sick, Tobias, like you were with the stomach business, Or pretend you feel like your insides are all green and stink and mixed up and your eyes hurt and you're half deaf and your brain keeps turning off and you've got peripheral neuritis and you can hardly walk and you hate. You hate with the same green stinking sickness and you feel your bowels have turned into yourself and everybody. Hate. And oh God, you want love, Love, so badly. Comfort and snuggling is what you really need, of course, but you hate and you notice. With a sort of detachment that amuses you, you think that you're more like an animal every day. You snarl and grab for things and hide things and forget where you hid them like not very bright dogs. And you wash less, prefer to be washed, and once or twice, you've actually soiled your bed and laid in it because you can't get up. Pretend all that. No, you don't like that, Tobias.
I don't know why you want to.
You want to know what it's like to be an alkie, don't you, boy?
Sure.
Pretend all that. So the guy you're spending your bottles with starts you going to the old AA, and you sit there at the alkie club and watch the better ones, not recovered. For once an alkie, always. And you'd better remember it, or you're gone the first time you pass a saloon. You watch the better ones get up and tell their stories.
Once you drop, you can come back up part way, but never really back again. Always descent.
Well, that's life, baby.
You're a great damn fool.
But I am not an alcoholic. I am not now and never was.
All the promise, all the chance.
It would be so much simpler if I were an alcoholic. So one night, 1 month sometime, I'd had one martini as a test to see if I could, which, given my stunning self-discipline, had become 3. And I felt rather daring and nicely detached and a little bigger than life and not snarling yet. So I marched more or less straight up to the front of the room, hall, and faced my peers. And I looked them over, all of them, trying so hard, grit and guilt and failing, and trying again and loss. And I had a moment's sweeping pity and disgust. And I almost cried, but I didn't. Like sister, by God. And I heard myself say in my little girl voice, and there was a lot of different me's by then, I am an alcoholic. My name is Claire, and I am an alcoholic. You try it.
My name is Claire, and I am an alcoholic.
A alcoholic.
A alcoholic.
My name is Claire, and I am a... Sanity, insanity, revelation, self-deception.
Change sometimes, no matter what.
Oh, count on you, Tobias. Snappy phrase every time. But it hooked me. The applause, the stage presence, that beginning. No school taught had more gold stars, never missing class. I went. Oh, God, I did.
But stop.
Until I learned, and being a slow student in my young middle age, slowly, that I was not, nor had ever been an alcoholic, or an either. What I did not have in common with those people, that they were alcoholics and I was not, that I was just a drunk, that they couldn't help it. I could and wouldn't, that they were sick and I was really.
I've talked to Julia.
Ah, how is she?
My, what an odd glass to have put a soft drink in. Tobias, you have quite a sense of humor after all.
Now, Agnes.
He has not.
Well, it can't be brandy. Tobias is grown up and knows better than to.
A toast to you, sweet sister. I drink your not half.
Were I to go away, drift off, you would not have a woman left about you. Only Claire and Julia, not even people. It would serve you right.
But I am not an alcoholic, baby.
She can drink a little.
I will not tolerate it. I will not have you. God, I wouldn't mind for a moment if you filled your bathtub with it and lowered yourself in it, drowned. I rather wish you would. It would give me the peace of mind to know you could do something well, thoroughly. If you want to kill yourself, then do it right.
Please, Agnes.
What I cannot stand is the selfishness. Those of you who want to die and take your whole lives with it.
Your wife is a perfectionist. They are very difficult to live with, these people.
She isn't an alcoholic. She says she can drink some.
I am not an alcoholic.
Tears, the muddy mind, the falls and the absences, the cigarettes out on the tablecloths, the calls from the club to come and get you, please, that they are all willful, that it can be helped. If you are not an alcoholic, you are beyond forgiveness.
Well, I've been that for a long time, haven't I, sweetheart?
If we change for the worse with drink,
This is charity, and we are subject to the will of his wife. If we were asked at our father's dying,
those are the ground rules.
Tobias, nothing? Are those the ground rules? Nothing? Too settled, too dried up, gone? All right. Very well then, Agnes, you win. I shall be an alcoholic. And what are you going to do about it?
Tobias, you will be unhappy to know it, I suppose, or of mixed emotions, certainly, that Julia is coming home.
Naturally.
Yes?
She is leaving Douglas, which is no surprise to me.
But wasn't Julia happy? You didn't tell me anything about.
If Julia were happy, she would not be coming home. I don't want her here, God knows. I mean, she's welcome, of course.
Right on schedule, once every 3 years.
It is her home. We are her parents, the two of us, and we have our obligations to her. And I have reached an age, Tobias, when I wish we were always alone, you and I, without hangers-on or anyone.
Well, I'm not going.
But if she and Douglas are through, and I'm not suggesting she is in the right, then her place is properly here, as for some it is not.
1, 2, 3, 4, down they go.
Well, I'd like to talk to Doug.
I wish you would. If you had talked to Tom or Charlie, yes, even Charlie or Phil, it might have done some good. If you decided to assert yourself, finally, too late, I imagine.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Julia might, at the very least, come to think her father cares, and that might be consolation, if not help.
I'll talk to Doug.
Why don't you invite him here? And while you're at it, bring the others along.
And you might talk to Julia too. You don't very much.
Yes?
Philip loved to gamble. Charlie loved the boys. Tom went after women. Douglas.
Will you stop that?
Ooh. I am here after all. I exist.
Why don't you go off on a vacation, Claire, now that Julia is coming home? Why don't you go to Kentucky or Tennessee and visit the distilleries? Or why don't you lock yourself in your room or find yourself in a bar with an apartment in the back?
Oh, Agnes, why don't you die?
If I saw some point to it, I might. If I saw some reason, chance, if I thought I might break through to her and say, Julia, but then what would I say? Julia, then nothing.
If we do not love someone, never have loved them.
No, there can be silence even having.
Do you really want me dead, Claire?
Wish? Yes. Want? I don't know. Probably, though I might regret it if I had it.
Remember the serpent's tooth, Tobias?
The cat that I had.
Hmm?
The cat that I had when I was, well, a year or so before I met you. She was very old. I'd had her since I was a kid. She must have been 17 or more. An alley cat. She didn't like people very much, I think. When people came, she'd pick up and walk away. She liked me, or rather, when I was alone with her, I could see she was content. She'd sit on my lap. I didn't know if she was happy, but she was content.
Yes.
And how the thing happened, I don't really know. One day I realized she no longer liked me. No, that's not right. One day I realized she must have stopped liking me sometime before. One evening I was alone home and I was suddenly aware of her absence. Not just that she wasn't in the room with me, but she hadn't been in rooms with me, watching me shave, just about for, and I couldn't place how long. She hadn't gone away, you understand. Well, she had, but she hadn't run off. I knew she was around. I remembered I had caught sight of her from time to time under a chair moving out of a room. But it was only when I realized something had happened that I could give any pattern to things that I noticed. She didn't like me anymore. It was that simple.
Well, she was old.
No, it wasn't that. She didn't like me anymore. I tried to force myself on her.
Whatever do you mean?
I'd close her in a room with me. I'd pick her up and I'd make her sit in my lap. I'd make her stay there when she didn't want to. But it didn't work. She abided, but she'd get down when she could. Go away.
Well, maybe she was ill.
No, she wasn't. I had her to the vet. She didn't like me anymore. One night, I was fixed on it now. I had her in the room with me and on my lap for the fifth time the same evening. And she lay there with her back to me and she wouldn't purr. And I knew she was just waiting till she could get down. And I said, damn you, you like me. God damn it, you stop this. I haven't done anything to you. And I shook her. I had my hands around her shoulders and I shook her. And she bit me hard and she hissed at me. So I hit her with my open hand. I hit her, smack, right across the head. I hated her.
Did you hurt her badly?
Yes, well, not badly. I must have hurt her ears some. She shook her head a lot for a day or so. And you see, there was no reason. She and I had lived together and been, well, friends, and there was no reason. And I hated her for that. I hated her. Well, I suppose because I was being accused of something, of failing. But I hadn't been cruel by design. If I'd been neglectful, well, my life was, I resented being judged, being betrayed.
What did you do?
I had lived with her. I had done everything. And if there was any responsibility I'd failed in, well, there was nothing I could do. And I was being accused.
Yes. What did you do?
I had her killed.
You had her put to sleep. She was old. You had her put to sleep.
I had her killed. I took her to the vet, and he took her into the back, and he gave her an injection, and I killed her. I had her killed.
Well, what else could you have done? There was nothing to be done. There was no meeting between you.
I might have tried longer. I might have gone on as long as cats live the same way. I might have worn a hair shirt, locked myself in the house with her, done penance for something. For what? God knows.
You probably did the right thing. Distasteful alternatives, the less ugly choice.
Yeah, was it?
Was that the car in the drive?
If we do not love someone, never have loved someone.
Oh, stop it. Love is not the problem. You love Agnes, and Agnes loves Julia, and Julia loves me, and I love you. We all love each other. Yes, we do. We love each other.
Yes.
Yes, to the depths of our self-pity and our greed. What else but love?
Error?
Quite possibly love and error.
Oh. There's a knock at the door. Edna? Harry? What a surprise. Tobias, it's Harry and Edna. Come in. Why don't you take off your...
Edna.
Hello, Tobias.
Well, now.
Harry.
Edna. Hello there, Harry.
Hello, dear Claire. Hello, Agnes.
Evening, Claire.
Sit down. We were just having a cordial. Have you been out to the club?
I like this room.
To the club?
How's the old Harry?
Pretty well, Claire. Not as good as I'd like, but...
Harry's been having his shortness of breath again.
I can't breathe sometimes for a bit.
Well, 2 sets of tennis, you know.
What have you done to the room, Agnes?
Oh, the summer things are off.
Of course.
Have you been to the club?
I was talking to Edna about having our books done in leather, bound.
Oh, yes.
The question, lest I'm going deaf from all the alcohol, was, have you all been to the club?
I wondered.
Why, no.
Why no? Why no, Agnes?
I wondered, for I thought perhaps you'd drop by here on your way from there.
No.
Or perhaps that we were having a party and I've lost the day.
No, we were just sitting at home.
Agnes.
Just sitting home.
Well,
Glad you're here, party or not.
Good to see you, Tobias.
How is Julia?
Wrong question. Oh, may I have some brandy, Tobias?
she's coming home, I'm afraid.
Oh, no, not again.
Just can't keep that one married, I guess.
Oh, Agnes, what a shame.
That's too bad.
Why did you come?
Please, Claire. We're glad you're here. We're glad you came to surprise us.
Yes.
We were sitting home, just sitting home.
Yes.
We're glad to see you.
What happened, Harry?
Claire, please.
Claire?
It's all right, Tobias.
I don't see why people have to be questioned when they come for a friendly.
Harry wants to tell you, sis.
Harry?
Well, we were sitting home.
Gonna get your drink, Harry.
We thought about going to the club, but it's so crowded on a Friday night.
With the canasta party and getting ready for the dance tomorrow.
We didn't want to do that, and I've been tired, and we didn't want to do that.
Harry's been tired this whole week.
So we had dinner at home, and we thought we'd stay.
Rest.
Of course. I will not. Shh.
Please.
Go on, Harry.
So we were sitting, and Edna was doing that panel she works on,
My needlepoint.
and I was reading my French. I've got it pretty good now. Not the accent, but the words.
And then?
Mhm.
And then?
I don't quite know what happened then. We were, it was all very quiet, and we were all alone. And then nothing happened, but nothing at all happened. But
We got frightened.
we got scared.
We were frightened.
There was nothing, but we were very scared.
We were terrified.
We were scared. It was like being lost, very, very young again, with the dark and lost. There was no thing to be frightened of, but
We were frightened. And there was nothing.
couldn't stay there. And so we came here. You're our very best friends.
In the world.
Now, Edna.
We couldn't go anywhere else, so we came here.
Well, you did the right thing, of course.
Sure.
Can I go to bed now? Please.
Bed,
We can't go back there.
Please.
bed.
I'm so tired.
You're our best friends in the world. Tobias?
Of course we are, Harry.
Please.
Of course you can. There's Julia's room, and come with me, dear. Tobias.
Edna?
Harry?
There was nowhere else we could go.
I was wondering when it would begin, when it would start.
Start? Start? What?
Don't you know yet? You will.
Curtain. Act 2. Scene 1. Same set before dinner next evening. Julia and Agnes alone. Agnes sitting, Julia on her feet, pacing, maybe.
You think I like it? Do you?
Julia, please.
Do you? Do you think I enjoy it?
Julia,
Do you think it gives me some kind of martyr's pleasure? Do you?
will you be still?
Well,
There is a house full of people.
yes. What about that? I come home, my room is full of Harry and Edna. I have no place to put my things.
They'll go to Tobias's room. He'll sleep with me.
That'll be different.
What did you say, young lady?
I said that will be nice.
You did not say any such thing. You said,
What are they doing here? Don't they have a house anymore? Has the market gone bust without my knowing it? I may have been out of touch, but
just let it be.
why are they here?
They're frightened. Haven't you heard of it?
They're what?
They're frightened. Now, will you let it be?
What are they frightened of? Harry and Edna? Frightened?
I don't know yet.
Well, haven't you talked to them about it? I mean, for God's sake.
No, I haven't.
What have they done? Stayed up in their room all day? My room? Not come down? Locked in?
Yes,
Yes, what?
yes, they have stayed up in their room all day.
My room.
Your room. Now let it be.
No,
Please.
I'm sorry, Mother.
I am too old, as I remember, to remember what it's like to be a daughter. If my poor parents, in their separate heavens, will forgive me, but I am sure it is simpler than being a mother.
I said I was sorry.
I don't recall if I ever asked my poor mother that. I do wish someone, and sometimes that I had been born a man.
Not so hot.
Ah, their concerns are so simple. Money and death, making ends meet until they meet the end. If they knew what it was like to be a wife, a mother, a lover, a homemaker, a nurse, a hostess, an agitator, a pacifier, a truth teller, a deceiver. There is a book out, I believe, a new one by one of the 30 million psychiatrists practicing in this land of ours, a book which opines that the sexes are reversing or coming to resemble each other too much, at any rate. It is a book to be read and disbelieved, for it disturbs our sense of well-being. If the book is right, and I suspect it is, then I would be no better off as a man, would I?
No, not at all.
No, there is nowhere to rest the weary head, whatever. How are you, my darling?
What?
How are you, my darling?
How is your darling? Well, I was trying to tell you before you shut me up with Harry and Edna hiding upstairs.
All right.
I will try to tell you, Mother, once again, before you've turned into a man.
I shall try to hear you out. But if I feel my voice changing in the middle of your rant, you will have to forgive my male prerogative. If I become uncomfortable, look at my watch or jiggle the change in my pocket. Where do you think you're going?
You go straight to hell.
Now, what's going on here?
You shut her up?
Will I, what?
Well, there you are, Julia. Your father may safely leave the room now, I think. Hello, darling. Your mother has arrived. Talk to him. Your daughter's in need of consolation or a great cuffing around the ears. I don't know which to recommend.
Have Harry and Edna,
No, they have not.
oh, well, I thought maybe, what was that all about?
As they say, I haven't the faintest.
Oh,
Evening papers?
oh, yes, want them?
Anything happy?
My daughter's home.
Any other joys?
Sorry. No, small wars, large anxieties. Our dear Republicans as brutal as ever. A teenage marijuana nest not far from here. I've never had marijuana in my entire life.
Want some?
Wasn't fashionable.
What the hell do Harry and Edna want?
Just let it be.
Didn't you try to talk to them today? I mean,
Well, no, they weren't down when I went off to the club, and
good old golf.
don't ride me, Julia. I warn you.
I've never had any marijuana either. Aren't I a good old girl?
Either that or slow.
Great Christ. What the hell did I come home to, and why? Both of you. Snotty, mean.
Look! There are some times when it all gathers up too much.
Sure.
Sometimes when it's going to be Agnes and Tobias and not just mother and dad, right? Sometimes when the allowances aren't going to be made. What are you doing? Biting off your fingernails now?
Broke off.
There are some times when it's all too much. I don't know what the hell Harry and Edna are doing sitting up in that bedroom. Claire is drinking. She and Agnes are at each other like a couple of
Sisters?
what? The goddamn government's at me over some deductions. And you,
And me, yes.
this isn't the first time, this isn't the first time you've come back with one of your goddamn marriages on the rocks. 4, count them.
I know how many marriages I've gotten myself into.
4. You expect to come back here, nestle into being 15 and misunderstood each time? You are 36 years old, for
And
God's sake.
you are 100, easily.
36 each time, dragging your I was going to say pride, your marriage with you like some Raggedy Ann doll by the foot. You fill this house with your wine.
I don't ask to come back here.
You belong here. Well, now that I've taken out on my only daughter the disgust of my declining years, I'll mix a very good and very strong martini. Join me.
I was a very, very little girl. Well, when I was a little girl, after I'd gotten over my 2-year burn at suddenly having a brother, may his soul rest. When I was still a little girl, I thought you were a marvel, saint, sage, daddy, everything. And then as the years turned and I reached my somewhat angular adolescence,
5 to 1 or more.
and then as the years turned, poor old man, you sank to cipher. And you've stayed there, I'm afraid. Very nice, but ineffectual. Essential, but not really thought of. Gray, non-eminence.
Mhm.
And now you've changed again. Sea monster, ram, nasty, violent, absolutely human man. Yes, as you make it 5 to 1 or better.
I made it about 7, I think.
Your transformations amaze me. How can I have changed so much? Or is it really you? Thank you.
I told Agnes that I'd speak to Doug if you think that would do any good. By golly, Dad, that's a good martini.
You really want to talk to Doug? You won't get anywhere. The compulsives you can get somewhere with, or the illusion of getting the gamblers, the fags, the lechers.
Of this world.
Yes, you can have the illusion because they're after something. The jackpot somehow. Break the bank, find the boy, climb the babe, something.
You do pick them.
Do I?
Hmm.
Do I pick them? I thought it was 1506 or so, where daughter went with whatever man her parents thought would hold the fief together best or something. Love will come after.
Well, you may have been pushed on Charlie.
Poor Charlie.
Well, for Christ's sake, if you miss him so much.
I do not miss him. Well, yes, I do, but not that way, because he seemed so like what Teddy would have been.
Your brother would not have grown up to be a fag.
Who is to say?
Do I breathe gin? Darling!
Oh, my sweet Claire.
Julia.
I must say, the welcome home committee was pretty skimpy, you and Daddy gone.
Oh, no. I said, do I breathe gin?
You do.
Well, you don't look too bad for a quadruple amputee, I must say. You're going to make me a whatever, Tobias. Besides, my darling, it's getting to be rather a habit, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose so.
Then I shall make my own.
Sit down, Claire, I'll do it.
I wouldn't want to tax you now. Well, I had an adventure today. Went into town, thought I'd shake 'em up a little, so I tried to find me a topless bathing suit.
You didn't.
Really, Claire?
Yes, I did. I went into, what's their names? And I went straight up to the swimwear, as they call it, department, and I got me an 1890s school teacher type who wondered what she could do for me. And I felt like telling her, not much, sweetheart.
Are you sure you wouldn't rather have...
Oh, very, but I said, hello there. I'm in the market for a topless swimsuit.
You know, they are wearing them on the coast.
Oh, hush. Hurry up there, Toby. A what, miss? She said, which I didn't know whether to take as a compliment or not. A topless swimsuit, I said. I don't know what you mean, she said after a beat. Oh, certainly you do, I said. No top, stops at the waist. Latest thing, lots of freedom. Oh, yes, she said, looking at me like she was seeing the local madam for the first time. Those. And a real sniff. I'm afraid we don't carry those.
I could have brought you one if I'd known I was coming home.
Well, in that case, I told her, do you have any separates? Those we carry, she said, those we do. And she started going under the counter, and I said, I'll just buy the bottoms of one of those.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Oh, she came up from under the counter, adjusted her spectacles, and said, what did you say?
Shall I bring it or will you come for it?
You bring. I said, I'll buy the bottom of one of those. She thought for a minute and then she said with ice in her voice, and what will we do with the tops? Well, I said, why don't you save them? Maybe bottomless swimsuits will be in next year. Then the poor sweet thing gave me a look I couldn't tell was either a D- or she was going to send me home with a letter to my mother. And she said, sort of far away, I think you need the manager. And off she walked.
Oh, what were you doing buying a bathing suit in October anyway?
Dad.
Now, it's a man's question. Good martini.
Truth will get you nowhere. Why?
Why? Well, maybe I'll go on a trip somewhere.
Oh, that would please Agnes.
As few things would. What I meant was, maybe Toby will walk in one day, trailing travel folders, rip his tie off and announce he's fed up to there with the north, the east, the suburbs, the regulated great gray life dwindling before him. Poor Toby. And has bought him an island off Paraguay.
There's no seacoast.
Oh yes, way off. has bought him this island and is taking us all to that. To hack through the whatever, build us an enormous lean-to, all of us, take us away to where it is all.
Dad?
It's too late or something.
Or maybe I simply wanted a topless bathing suit. No? Well then, maybe it is more complicated yet. I mean, Claire couldn't find herself a man if she tried. And here comes Julia home from the wars.
You could find a man.
Indeed, I have found several, briefly, and none my own.
Julia, don't you think Auntie Claire could find herself a man?
I don't like the subject.
And here comes Julia, home from the wars, 4 purple hearts.
Why don't you just have another drink and stop it, Claire?
All right.
I have left Doug. We are not divorced.
Yet. Are you cooking a second batch, Tobias? But you've come back home, haven't you? And didn't you with the others?
Where else am I supposed to go?
Oh, it's a great big world, baby. There are hotels, new cities. Home is the quickest road to Reno I know of.
You've had a lot of experience in these matters, Claire.
Sidelines, good seats, right on the 50-yard line, objective observer. I swear, if I didn't love my sister so, I'd say you got yourself hitched for the pleasure of getting you back.
All right.
That will do now.
Sorry, very, very sorry.
They tell me in the kitchen, they tell me we are about to dine in a bit. Are we having a cocktail? I think one might be nice. It's one of those days when everything's underneath, but we are all together, which is something.
Quite a few of us.
Any word from up there?
No, I dropped upstairs, happened upstairs. I knocked at Harry and Edna's, Julia's room. door, and after a moment I heard Harry say, "It's all right, we're all right." I didn't have the, well, I felt such an odd mixture of embarrassment and irritation and apprehension, I suppose, and fatigue. I didn't persevere.
Oh, haven't they been out? I mean, haven't they eaten or anything?
Well, you make me a thing, a martini, please. I am told they tell me that while we were all out at our various whatever maybes, Edna descended, asked them to make sandwiches, which were brought to the closed door and handed in.
Oh, God, I mean,
There is no point in pressing it. They are our very dear friends. They will tell us in good time.
I had a glimmer of it last night, thought I knew.
That which we see in the bottom of our glass is most often dregs.
Really? Truly so.
did you say you wanted?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
I have been trying without very much success to find out why Miss Julie here is come home.
I would imagine Julia is home because she wishes to be, and it is where she belongs if she wants.
That's logistics, isn't it?
You too?
He's against everything.
Your father?
Doug,
You needn't make a circus of it. Tell me later when.
war, marriage, money, children.
You needn't.
You, Daddy, government, Claire, if he'd met her, everything.
Well, I doubt he'd dislike me. I'm against everything, too.
You're tired. We'll talk about it after.
I've talked about it. I just talked about it.
I'm sure there's more.
There is no more.
There is a great deal more, and I'll hear it from you later when we're alone. You have not come to us in your fourth debacle.
He is opposed, and that is all, to everything.
Perhaps after dinner.
No, not perhaps after dinner.
All of you, be still.
Are we having our dividends or are we not? All happy families are alike.
Well,
Well, look who's here.
Oh, Harry, just in time for a martini.
no, we're Julia, there you are.
There's just time for a drink before dinner, if my husband will hurry some.
No, we're going home now.
Oh, yes?
Yes.
Well, if we're any help at all, we,
To get our things, our clothes and things.
Yes.
We'll be back well, after dinner, so don't.
An hour or two. It'll take us a while.
We'll let ourselves, don't bother.
I want my room back. I want my room.
I believe that dinner is served.
Yes?
If any of you have the stomach for it.
Curtain. Scene 2. Same set after dinner, the same evening. Agnes and Tobias to one side, Agnes standing, Tobias not. Julia in another corner, not facing them.
That was, without question, the ugliest dinner I have ever sat through.
What did you say? Now, what can you mean? Was the ragout not to your pleasure? Did the floating island sink? Watch what you say, for your father is proud of his wines.
No, you, sitting there like a combination pope, and we will not discuss it. Claire, be still. No, Tobias, the table is not the proper place. Julia, nanny, like a nanny.
When we are dealing with children,
I must discover sometime who you think you are.
you will learn one day.
No, more like a drill sergeant. You will do this. You will not say that.
To keep in shape. Have you heard that expression? Most people misunderstand it, assume it means alteration when it does not. Maintenance. When we keep something in shape, we maintain its shape. Whether we are proud of that shape or not is another matter. We keep it from falling apart. We do not attempt the impossible. We maintain, we hold.
Yes. So?
I shall keep this family in shape. I shall maintain it, hold it.
But you won't attempt the impossible.
I shall keep it in shape. If I am a drill sergeant, so be it. Since nobody really wants to talk about your latest marital disorder, really wants to talk around it, use it as an excuse for all sorts of horrid little revenges, I think we can at least keep the table unlittered of that.
Yes, sir.
And if I shout, it's merely to be heard above the awful din of your privacies and sulks. All of you. I am not being an ogre, am I?
No, no, very reasonable.
If I am a stickler on certain points, a martinet, as Julia would have it, would you not, sweet? In fact, were you not about to? If I am a stickler on points of manners, timing, tact, the graces, I almost blush to call them. It is simply that I am the one member of this reasonably happy family, blessed and burdened with the ability to view a situation objectively while I am in it.
What time is it?
The double position of seeing not only facts, but their implications.
Nearly 10.
The longest view as well as the shorter. There is a balance to be maintained after all, though the rest of you teeter, unconcerned or uncaring, assuming you're on a level ground by divine right, I gather, though that is hardly so. And if I must be the fulcrum, I think I have a divorce. I think I shall have a divorce.
Have what? A
No
what?
fear, no fear, merely testing. Everything is granted, taken for granted, and no one listens.
Have a divorce.
No, Julia has them for us all. Not even separation. That is taken care of. And in life, the gradual demise of intensity, the private preoccupation, the substitutions. We become allegorical, my dear Tobias, as we grow older. The individuality we hold so dearly sinks into crotchet. We see ourselves repeated by those we bring into it all, either by mirror or rejection, honor or fault. I am not a fool. I really am not.
What's Claire up to?
Really? Not at all.
No, really not.
How would I know what she's doing?
Well, you are the fulcrum and all around here, the double vision, the great balancing act.
I dare say she's in her room.
At least she has one.
Well, why don't you run upstairs and claim your goddamn room back? Barricade yourself in there. Push a bureau in front of the door. Take Tobias's pistol while you're at it. Aim yourself.
Barricades? Pistols? Really, so soon?
Oh, Claire.
Claire, will you take off that damn thing?
They laughed when I sat down to the accordion. Take it off? No, I will not. This is going to be a festive night. From the smell of it, and Sister Claire wants to do her part, pay her way, so to speak, justify.
You are not going to play that dreadful instrument in here, and Tobias, do something about that.
Oh, now, Agnes.
So, shall I wait? Shall I start now? A polka? What?
My sister is not really lazy. The things she has learned since leaving the nest, gaucherie, ingratitude, drunkenness, and even this. She has become a musician too.
Ma used to say, Claire girl. She had an uncle named Claire, so she always called me Claire girl.
That is not so.
Claire girl, she used to say, when you go out into the world, get dumped out of the nest or pushed by your sister.
Lies. She kept you, allowed you, tolerated, put up with your filth, your emancipated womanhood. Even in her teens, your Auntie Claire had her own and very special ways, was very advanced.
Had a ball. The same as you, except I wasn't puce with the socially proper remorse every time. Your mommy got her pudenda scuffed a couple of times herself before she met old Toby, you know.
Your what?
My pudenda.
You can come on all forgetful in your old age if you want to, but just remember,
I am not an old woman. Am I?
Well, you're my old lady.
well, what'll it be?
Save it for Harry and Edna.
Save it for Harry and Edna. Save it for them.
Please.
All right, I'll unload.
I dare say.
What?
No, nothing.
We're waiting, aren't we?
Hmm.
Waiting. The room, the doctor's office, beautiful unconcern, intensive study of the dreadful curtains, absorption in field and stream, waiting for the biopsy. No? Don't know what I mean?
What about Harry and Edna?
We don't want to talk about it.
If they come back,
If
if they come back, we will.
you've only got two choices, sis. You take them in or you throw them out.
How simple it is from the sidelines.
Oh, we'll do neither, I imagine. Take in, throw out.
Oh,
Well, yes, they're just passing through.
as they have been all these years.
Well, we shall know soon enough. They're back.
Yes.
I think I'll go up.
You stay right here.
I want to go to my...
It is their room for the moment.
Among Doug's opinions, you might want to know, is that when you and your ilk are blown to pieces by a Chinese bomb, the world will be a better place.
Isn't ilk a lovely word?
Oh, come on now.
It will certainly be a less crowded one.
You choose well, Julia.
What he says.
Have always. Did he include you as ilk as well? Will you be with us when the fatal mushroom comes, as those dirty boys put it? Are we to have the pleasure?
I'll be right here.
Agnes,
Would you like to know something else he says?
No, Julia.
Dad?
not right this minute, Julia.
Claire? You?
Well, come on. You know I'd like to hear about it. Love to. But Toby and Ag have got an invasion on their hands, and
We have no such thing.
maybe you'd better save it for Harry and Edna, too.
It does not concern Harry and Edna.
Best friends.
Tobias,
Where? Well, what do you want me to do with everything?
well, for God's sake, I'll do it.
What do they want? Harry and Edna.
Hmm?
They'll make Mother mad. Harry and Edna. What do they want?
Sucker.
Pardon?
Comfort. Warmth. A special room with a night light on, or the door ajar so you could look down the hall from the bed and see that Mommy's door is open.
But that's my room.
It's the room. Happens you were in it. You're a visitor as much as anyone now.
But I know that room.
Are you home for good now? Are you home forever, back from the world? To the sadness and reassurance of your parents, have you come to take my place?
This is my home.
This, Rambo? Yes. You're laying claim to the cave. Well, I don't know how they'll take to that. We're not a communal nation here. Giving but not sharing, outgoing but not friendly.
Hello.
Hello. We submerge our truths and have our sunsets on untroubled waters. Come on in, Enda.
Yes.
We live with our truths in the grassy bottom, and we examine all the interpretations of all the implications like we had a life for nothing else, for God's sake. Do you think you can walk on water, Edna? Or do you think we will sink?
We sing.
And we better develop gills, right?
Right.
It's you come in.
We drove around the back. Harry is helping Agnes and Tobias get our bags upstairs.
Don't you mean Agnes and Tobias are helping Harry?
If you like. What were you two up to?
I think Julia is home for good this time.
Twice sake, Claire.
Oh, is it come to that?
I always said she would, finally.
This is family business.
Yes, but I'm not sure Agnes and Tobias have seen it as clearly. I do wish Agnes would have that chair recovered. Perhaps now.
Well, why don't you call the upholsterers now that you're living here?
All in the family.
You're not a child anymore, Julia. You're nicely on your way to 40. And you've not helped wedlock's image any with your shenanigans.
You are a guest in this house.
And if you have decided to return forever, then it's a matter of some concern for quite a few people.
You are a guest.
As you.
For quite a few people whose lives are moved, if not necessarily touched, by your actions. Claire, where does Agnes have her upholstery done? Does she use
No.
manners, young lady?
Julia, why don't you ask Edna if she'd like something?
No. You have no rights here.
I'll have a cognac, Julia. My husband and I are your parents' best friends. We are, in addition, your godparents.
Does this give you rights?
Some.
Some rights and responsibilities. Some.
Oh, hello there, Harry. Come on in. Julia's about to fix us all something. What'll you?
I'll do it. Don't trouble yourself, Julia.
No. Don't you come near it. Don't you take a step.
Now, Julia.
No.
Let her do it, Harry. She wants to.
I don't want to.
Then I'll do it, Julia.
Mother! Mother!
Honestly.
Mother!
Julia, will you let me do it? May I get the drinks?
Stay away from it. All of you.
Now, Julia.
Oh, come now, Julia. Now, you don't.
Let her go, Harry.
Mother! Father! Mother!
What is it, dear?
They want!
Get it, Julia.
Yes, for God's sake, forget it.
They want!
Perhaps you had better go upstairs.
Yes? Where? What room?
Go up to my room. Lie down.
Your room.
You may lie down in our room if you prefer.
Your room. Your room. Mine. Mine.
God.
Don't you go near that.
Julia,
I want.
What do you want, Julia?
Jesus.
I want what is mine.
well then, my dear, you will have to decide what that is, will you not?
Daddy. Daddy.
Why do I believe that's the first time she called on her father since her childhood?
When she used to skin her knees?
Yes, and she would come home bloody. I assumed she was clumsy, but it crossed my mind a time or two that she was religious.
Praying on the gravel. A penance.
Yes. Teddy had just died, I think, and it was an unreal time for a number of us, for me, poor little boy.
Yes.
It was an unreal time. I thought Tobias was out of love with me, or rather was tired of it when Teddy died, as if that had been the string.
Would you like something, Edna?
Uh-huh.
The things I doubted then, that I was loved, that I loved, for that matter, that Teddy ever lived at all. My mind, you see, that Julia would be with us long. I think Tobias was unfaithful to me then. Was he, Harry?
Oh, Agnes.
Come on, Agnes. Of course not. No.
Was he, Claire? That hot summer with Julia's knees all bloodied and Teddy dead? Did my husband cheat on me?
Got me, sis.
And that will have to do.
Poor Julia.
Oh, Julia is a fool. Will you make me a drink, Harry, since you're being Tobias? A scotch?
Sure thing. Claire?
Why not?
Claire could tell us so much if she cared to. Could you not, Claire? Claire, who watches from the sidelines, has seen so much, has seen us all so clearly. Have you not, Claire? You were not named for nothing.
Lay off, sis.
What do you want?
I don't know what you mean.
Yes.
What do you really want?
You gonna tell her, Harry?
I don't know what you mean, Claire. Scotch, was it, Agnes?
I said,
Yes, but I don't remember.
Don't talk to Harry like that.
I am sorry, Edna. I forgot that you're very frightened people.
Don't you make fun of us.
My dear Edna, I am not. I assure you, Edna.
Here's your drink.
I assure you.
I think it's time for a little music, don't you, kids? I yodel a little too nowadays, if anybody.
We don't want music, Claire.
You what? You yodel?
Well, sure.
Talent will out.
She yodels.
Yes.
She yodels.
What would you like, Harry? A chorus of "Take me to the greenhouse, lay me down."
Claire.
I wonder if before the concert, one of you would mind telling me why my daughter is upstairs in hysterics.
Envy, baby. She don't sing or nothing.
Please. Well, will any of you tell me?
What is she doing, Tobias?
I told you she's in hysterics.
That is a condition. I inquired about an action.
Poor Julia.
I don't understand that girl.
An action, is that what you want? Okay. How about pressed against the corner of the upstairs hall, arms wide, palms back, eyes darting wide? How about tearing into Harry and Agnes' room, ripping the clothes from the closets, hangers, and all on the floor? The same for the bureaus.
I see.
More.
All right.
Or into your room next, twisted on your bed, lots of breathing and the great wide eyes, the spread all gathered under her, a big lace pillow in her arms, like a lover, her eyes wide open. No tears now, though if you come near her, the sounds start and you think she'll scream if you touch her. How's that?
Pretty good.
And accurate, I imagine.
You're damn right. Now, why?
Would it seem incomplete to you, my darling, were I to tell you Julia is upset that Edna and Harry are here? That
I was making myself a drink, for God's sake.
I asked her to make me
Oh,
something.
come on.
He rose like a silent film star, ran to the sideboard, defended it like a princess in the movies, hiding her lover in the closet from the king.
That sounds incomplete to you, Toby?
Somewhat.
Julia has been through a trying time, Tobias.
I suppose we did upset her some.
Of course.
Don't you think you should go tend to her?
No, she will be down or she will not. She will stop or she will go on.
Well, for God's sake, Agnes.
I haven't the time, Tobias. I haven't time for the 4-hour talk, the soothing recapitulation. You don't go through it, my love, the history. Nothing is calmed by a pat on the hand, a gentle massage, or slowly combing the hair. No, the history. Teddy's birth and how she felt unwanted, tricked, his death, and was she more relieved than lost? All the schools we sent her to, and she did fail in them through hate or love. And when we came to marriage, dear, each one of them, the fear, the happiness, the sex, the stopping, the infidelities.
Oh, right, Agnes.
Oh, my dear Tobias, my life has gone through more than hers. I see myself growing old each time, see my own life passing. No, I haven't time for it now. At midnight, maybe, when you're all in your beds, safely sleeping. Then I will comfort Julia and lose myself once more.
I tell you, there are so many martyrdoms here.
One to a person.
That is the usual, though I do believe there are some with none, and others who have known Job. The helpless are the cruelest lot of all. They shift their burden so.
If you interviewed a camel, he'd admit he loved his load.
I wish you two would stop having at each other.
Hell yes. Let's have a drink. Tobias? What can I make you, buddy?
Why, Edna, you've actually spoken your mind.
What can you make me?
I do, sometimes.
Well, sure. I'm here.
What an environment is not all that it might be.
Oh, yes. Scotch.
Is that for you to say?
Here we come.
Stop it, Claire, dear. I said, is that for you to say?
We must be helpful when we can, my dear. That is the responsibility. The double demand of friendship, is it not?
But when we are asked.
No, not really. It seemed to me, to us, that since we were living here,
That's my view.
Out of here, Daddy. Get them out of here. 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 Get them out of here.
Julia,
Get them out of here, Daddy.
Oh, all right, Julia, let's have it now.
Get them out of here, Daddy.
Come on, Julia.
Get them out of here, Daddy.
you ought to be horsewhipped, young lady.
All right, now.
Do it, Daddy, or give it back.
How dare you come into this room like that? How dare you embarrass me and your father? How dare you frighten Edna and Harry? How dare you come into this room like that?
Are you going?
Julia,
Julia, please.
Are you?
going? No, we are not going.
No.
You see?
Coming down here with a gun like that?
You return to your nest from your latest disaster, dispossessed and suddenly dispossessing, screaming the house down, clawing at order.
Stop her.
Willful, wicked, wretched girl.
You are not my. You have no rights.
We have rights here. We belong.
Mother!
Julia,
We belong here. Do we not?
Forever? Have you come to stay forever?
If need be. I'm sorry, it's a godmother's duty. If we come to the point, if we are at home one evening and the terror comes, descends, if all at once we need, we come here, we come where we are wanted, where we know we are expected. Not only where we want, we come where the table has been laid for us in such an event, where the bed is turned down and warmed and has been ready should we need it. We are not transients like some.
No.
You must, what is the word? Coexist, my dear. Must she not? Must she not? This is what you have meant by friendship, is it not? Why, yes, we have.
well, then perhaps it is time for bed, Julia. Come upstairs with me.
Mother.
Uh-huh. Let me comb your hair and rub your back, and we shall soothe and solve and fall to sleep. Tobias?
Well, I think it's time for bed.
Well, yes, yes, of course.
We know the way. Friendship is something like a marriage, is it not, Tobias? For better or worse.
Sure.
We haven't come to the wrong place, have we?
Have we, Toby?
No. No, of course you haven't.
Good night, dear Tobias. Good night, Claire.
Good night, you two.
Good night, old man.
Good night. Good night, you too.
Full house, Tobias. Every bed and every cupboard.
Good night, Claire.
Are you going to stay up, Tobias? Sort of a night watch guarding? I've done it. The breathing as you stand in the quiet halls, slow and heavy, and the special warmth and permeation of a house asleep. When the house is sleeping, when the people are asleep.
Good night, Claire.
And the different breathing in the cold when every bed is awake all night, very still, eyes open, staring into the dark. Do you know that one?
Good night, Claire.
Good night, Tobias.
Curtain. Act 3. 7:30 the next morning, same set. Tobias alone in a chair, wearing pajamas and a robe, slippers, awake. Agnes enters, wearing a dressing gown, which could pass for her hostess gown. Her movements are not assertive, and her tone is gentle.
There you are.
7:30 a.m. and all's well, I guess.
So odd.
Hmm?
There was a stranger in my room last night.
Who?
You.
Ah.
It was nice to have you there.
Hmm.
Le temps perdu. I've never understood that perdu means lost, not nearly past. But it was nice to have you there, though I remember when it was a constancy, how easily I would fall asleep, pace my breathing to your breathing. And if we were touching, what a splendid cocoon that was. But last night, what a shame, what sadness. You were a stranger and I stayed awake.
I'm sorry.
Were you asleep at all?
No.
I would go half, then wake. Your unfamiliar presence, sir. I could get used to it again,
Yes?
I think.
You didn't have your talk with Julia, your all-night lulling.
No, she wouldn't let me stay. Look to your own house, is what she said. You stay down long?
When?
After, before you came to bed?
Some. I almost went into my room by habit, by mistake rather, but then I realized that your room is my room because my room is Julia's, because Julia's room is...
Yes, and I was awake when you left my room again.
You could have said.
I felt shy.
Hmm.
Did you go to Claire?
I never go to Claire.
Did you go to Claire to talk?
I never go to Claire.
We must always envy someone we should not. Be jealous of those who have so much less. You and Claire make so much sense together, talk so well.
I never go to Claire at night or talk with her alone, save publicly.
In public rooms like this.
Yes.
Have never?
Please.
Do we dislike happiness? We manufacture such a portion of our own despair, such busy folk.
We are a highly moral land. We assume we have done great wrong. We find the thing.
I shall start missing you again when you move from my room, if you do. I had stopped, I believe.
You're an honest woman.
Well, we need one in every house.
it's very strange to be downstairs in a room where everyone has been and is gone very late after the heat has gone, the furnace and the bodies. The hour or two before the sun comes up, the furnace starts again. And tonight especially, the cigarettes still in the ashtrays, odd metallic smell. The odors of a room don't mix late when there's no one there. And I think the silence helps it, and the lack of bodies. Each thing stands out in its place.
What did you decide?
And when you do come down, if you do at 3 or 4, and you've left a light or two in case someone should come in late, I suppose, but who is there left? The inn is full. It's rather godlike, if I may presume, to look at it all, reconstruct with such detachment. See yourself, you, Julia, look at it all, play it out again, watch.
Judge?
No, that's being in it. Watch. And if you have a drink or two,
Did you?
yeah, if you have a drink or two very late in the quiet, tired, the mind lets loose.
Yes.
And you watch it as it reasons, all with a kind of grateful delight at the same time, sadly, because you know that when the daylight comes, the pressures will be on and all the insight won't be worth a damn.
What did you decide?
You can sit and watch. You can have so clear a picture, see everybody moving through his own jungle, and insight into all the reasons, all the needs.
Good. And what did you decide?
Why is the room so dirty? Can't we have better servants? Some help who help.
They keep far better hours than we, that's all. They are a comment on our habits, a reminder that we are out of step. That is why we pay them so very, very much. Neither a servant nor a master be, remember?
I remember when
You were very young and lived at home, and the servants were awake whenever you were. 6 a.m. for your breakfast when you wanted it, or 5 in the morning when you came home drunk and 17, washing the vomit from the car, and you telling no one, stealing just enough each month by arrangement with the stores to keep them in a decent wage. Generations of them, the laundress blind and always dying, and the cook who did a better dinner drunk than sober. Those servants, those days when you were young and lived at home? Well, my darling, you are not young now, and you do not live at home.
where do I live?
The dark sadness, yes?
What are we going to do?
What did you decide?
Nothing.
Well, you must. Your house is not in order, sir. It's full to bursting.
Yes, you've got to help me here.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No. I thought a little last night, too, while you were seeing everything so clearly here. I lay in the dark and I revisited our life, the years and years. There are many things a woman does. She bears the children, if there is that blessing. Blessing. Yes, I suppose even with the sadness. She runs the house for what that's worth. Makes sure there's food and not just anything, and decent linen. Looks well. Assumes whatever duties are demanded. And if she is in love or loves and plans.
I know.
And plans. Right to the end of it. Expects to be alone one day, abandoned by a heart attack or the cancer. Prepares for that. And prepares earlier for the children to become adult strangers instead of growing ones. For that loss and for the body chemistry. The end of what the Bible tells us is our usefulness. The reins we hold. It is a team of 20 horses, and we sit there and we watch the road and check the leather if our man is so disposed. But there are things we do not do.
Yes?
Yes, we don't decide the route.
You're copping out, as they say.
No, indeed.
Yes, you are.
Don't you yell at me.
You're copping out.
We follow. We let our man decide the moral issues.
Never. You've never done that in your life.
Always, my darling. Whatever you decide, I'll make it work. I'll run it for you so you'll never know there's been a change in anything.
No.
So let me know.
I know. I'm tired. I know I've hardly slept at all. I know I've sat down here and thought,
You and made your decisions.
but I have not judged. I told you that.
Well, when you have, you let me know.
No,
You'll wake the house.
I'll wake the house.
This is not the time for you to lose control.
I'll lose control. I have sat here in the cold, in the empty cold. I have sat here alone and I've looked at everything, all of it. I thought of you and Julia and Claire.
And Edna and Harry.
Well, of course. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm listening.
Morning. I don't suppose there's. Shall I make some coffee?
Why don't you do that, darling?
Good morning, Julie.
I'm sorry about last night, Daddy.
Oh, well, no.
I mean, I'm sorry for having embarrassed you.
Coffee.
Aren't you sorry for embarrassing me too?
Well, isn't that nice that Julia's making coffee? No? If the help aren't up, isn't it nice to have a daughter who can put a pot to boil?
Aren't you sorry for embarrassing me too?
You have a problem there with Julia?
I have a problem?
Yes, but at least you have your women with you, crowded round firm arm support. That must be a comfort to you. Most explorers go alone, don't have their families with them, pitching tents, tending the fire, shooting off the antelopes or the bears or whatever.
Aren't you sorry for embarrassing me too?
Are you quoting?
Yes.
Next time, we'll have my younger sister with us, another porter for the dreadful trip. Claire has never missed a chance to participate in watching. She'll be here. We'll have us all.
And you'll all sit down and watch me carefully, smoke your pipes, and stir the cauldron. Watch.
Yes.
You, who make all the decisions, really rule the game.
That is an illusion you have.
All sit there too early for anything on this stupid Sunday, all of you, and dare me when it's just as much your choice as mine.
Each time that Julia comes, each clockwork time, do you send her back? Do you tell her, Julia, go home to your husband, try it again? Do you? No, you let it slip. It's your decision, sir.
It is not.
And I must live with it. Resign myself one marriage more and wait and hope that Julia's motherhood will come. One day, one marriage. I am almost too old to be a grandmother, as I'd hoped. Too young to be one. Oh, I had wanted that. The youngest older woman on the block. Julia is almost too old to have a child properly. Will be if she ever does, if she marries again. You could have pushed her back if you'd wanted to.
It's very early yet, that must be it. I've never heard such...
Or Teddy? No stammering here. You'll let that pass?
Please.
When Teddy died? We could have had another son. We could have tried, but no, those months, or was it a year?
No more of
I think it was a
this.
year. I think it was a year when you spilled yourself on my belly, sir. Please, please, Tobias. No, you wouldn't even say it out. I don't want another child, another loss. Please, please, Tobias. And guiding you, trying to hold you in.
Oh, Agnes, please.
Don't leave me then like that. Not again, Tobias, please. I can take care of it. We won't have another child, but please don't leave me like that. silent, sad, disgusted love.
I didn't want you to have to.
Sir?
I didn't want you to have to, you know.
Oh, well, that was thoughtful of you. Like a pair of adolescents in a rented room or in a family car. Doubtless you hated it as much as I,
Yes.
but wouldn't let me help you,
No.
which is why you took to your own sweet room instead.
Yes.
The theory being pat, that a half of a loaf is worse than none, that you racked with guilt, stupidity, and I must suffer for it.
Yes.
Well, it was your decision, was it not?
Yes.
And I have made the best of it, have lived with it, have I not?
What are we going to do about everything?
Whatever you like, naturally.
Morning, kids.
All I can do, my dear, is run it for you and forecast.
Good morning, Claire.
Julia's in the kitchen making coffee, Claire.
Which means I guess I go watch Julia grind the beans and drip the water, huh? I tell you, she's a real pioneer, that girl. Coffee pot in one hand, pistol in the other.
Claire is a comfort in the early hours, I have been told.
Yes.
That is what I have been told.
Shall I ask them to leave?
Who?
Harry and Edna?
Oh, for a moment I thought you meant Julia and Claire.
No, Harry and Edna. Should I throw them out?
Harry is your very best friend in the whole.
Yes, and Edna is yours. Well?
You'll have to live with it. Either way, do or don't.
Yes, well then, why don't I throw Julia and Claire out instead? Or better yet, why don't I throw the whole bunch out?
Or get rid of me. That would be easier. Rid yourself of the Herod, and then you can run your mission and take out sainthood papers.
Well, I think you're stating an opinion, a preference.
But if you do get rid of me, you'll no longer have your life the way you want it.
But that's not all the choice I've got, is it?
I don't care very much what choice you've got, my darling, but I am concerned with what choice you make. Ah, here are the helpmates. What would we do without them?
The coffee is instant, I'm afraid. I couldn't find a bean. Those folk must lock them up before they go to bed. Come on, Pop, let's clear away a little of the debris,
Pop?
It's true. We cannot drink our coffee amidst a sea of last night's glasses. Tobias, do be a help.
And I didn't have to do a thing. Thank God for pre-squeezed orange juice.
There. Now that's much better, isn't it?
Oh, whatever you say, Julie.
Now I'll play waiter. Sis,
Thank you, Claire.
little Julie,
Just put it down beside me, Claire. I'm pouring, as you can see.
Pop.
Thank you, Claire.
Yours is here, daughter, when you've done with playing early morning hostess.
Thank you, Claire.
Now, one for little Claire.
Why don't you have some vodka in it, Claire, to start the Sunday off?
Julia.
Please, Julia.
Did I say something wrong, Father?
Vodka. Sunday, 10 to 8. Well, hell, why not?
You don't have to, Claire.
Let her do what she wants.
Yes, I do, Tobias. The rules of the guest book. Be polite. We have our friends and guests for patterns, don't we? Known quantities. The drunks stay drunk. The Catholics go to Mass. The bounders bound. We can't have changes. Throws the balance off.
Besides, you like to drink.
Besides, I like to drink. Just think, Tobias, what would happen if the patterns changed? You wouldn't know where you stood and the world would be full of strangers. That would never do.
Bring me my orange juice, will you please?
Ooh, Julia's back for a spell, I think. Settling in?
Father?
Oh, thank you, Julia.
Mother?
Oh, thank you, darling.
Yours is here, Claire, on the tray.
Your juice is here? here, Julia, when you want it.
Claire,
For God's sake, Claire.
Well, why not? Nothing changes.
Besides, our friends upstairs don't like the room. They'll want some alterations.
Now, all of you sit down, shut up. I want to talk to you.
Did I give you sugar, Mother?
Be quiet, Julia.
my darling. Yes, you did.
I want to talk to you.
Well, go on, Tobias.
You too, Claire, please. Now, something happened here last night, and I don't mean Julia's hysterics with the gun. Be quiet, Julia. Though I do mean that in part. I mean Harry and Edna coming here. Yes, did you want to say something, Julia? No. I came down here and I sat all night, hours, and I did something rather rare for this family. I thought about something.
I'm sorry, Tobias, but that's not fair.
I thought. I sat down here and I thought about all of us and everything. Now, Harry and Edna have come to us and asked for
That
help.
is not true.
Quiet.
That is not true. They have not asked for anything.
Please, Julia.
They have told. They have come in here and ordered.
Just like the family.
Asked. If you're begging and you've got your pride.
If you're begging, then you may not have your pride.
I don't think that's true, Julia.
Julia wouldn't know. Ask me.
Those people have no right.
No right? All these years we've known them since, for God's sake, Julia, those people are our friends.
Then take them in. Take these intruders in.
Look, baby, didn't you get the message on rights last night? Didn't you learn about intrusion? What the score is? Who belongs?
You bring these people in here, Father, and I'm leaving.
Yes?
I don't mean coming and going, Father. I mean as family.
Harry and Edna are our friends.
They are intruders.
Crisis sure brings out the best in us, don't it, Toby? The family circle. Julia standing there, asserting, perpetual brat, and maybe ready to pull a Claire. And poor Claire. Not much help there either, is there? And look at Agnes, talky Agnes, ruler of the roost, and maitre d', and licensed wife. Silent, all cozy, coffee, thinking of the menu for the week, planning. Poor Toad.
Thank you, Claire. I was merely waiting until I'd heard and thought a little, listened to the rest of you. I thought someone should sit back, especially me, ruler of the roost, licensed wife, midnight nurse. And I've been thinking about Harry and Edna, about disease.
About what?
About disease.
Oh, for God's sake.
About disease, or if you like, the terror.
Uh-huh.
Terror.
Yes, the terror, or the plague. They're both the same. Edna and Harry have come to us, dear friends, our very best, though there's judgment to be made about that, I think, have come to us and brought the plague. Now, poor Tobias has sat up all night and wrestled with the moral problem.
I've not been wrestling with some abstract problem. These are people, Harry and Edna. These are our friends, goddammit.
Yes, but they've brought the plague with them, and that's another matter. Let me tell you something about disease, mortal illness. You either are immune to it or you fight it. If you are immune, you wade right in. You treat the patient until he either lives or dies of it. But if you are not immune, you risk infection. 10 centuries ago, or even less, the treatment was quite simple. Burn them. Burn their bodies, burn their homes, burn their clothes, and move to another town, if you were enlightened. But now, with modern medicine, we merely isolate, we quarantine, we ostracize, if we are not immune ourselves, or unless we are saints. So, Your night-long vigil, darling, your reasoning in the cold, pure hours has been over the patient and not the illness. It is not Harry and Edna who have come to us, our friends. It is a disease.
Oh, for God's sake, Agnes, it is our friends. What am I supposed to do? Say, look, you can't stay here, you two. You've got trouble, you're friends and all, but you come in here clean. Well, I can't do that. No, Agnes, for God's sake. If that's all Harry and Edna mean to us, then what about us when we talk to each other? What have we meant? Anything? When we touch, when we promise and say yes or please with ourselves, have we meant yes, but only if there's any condition, Agnes, then it's all been empty.
Perhaps. But blood binds us. Blood holds us together when we've no more deep affection for ourselves and others. I am not asking you to choose between your family and our friends.
Yes, you are.
I am merely saying that there is a disease here, and I ask you, who in this family is immune?
I am. I've had it. I'm still alive, I think.
Claire is the strongest of us all. The walking wounded often are, the last susceptible. But think about the rest of us. Are we immune to it? The plague, my darling, the terror sitting in the room upstairs. Well, if we are, then on with it. And if we're not, well, why not be infected? Why not die of it? We're bound to die of something, soon or in a while. Or shall we burn them out, rid ourselves of it all, and wait for the next invasion? You decide, my darling.
Good morning.
Ah, you're up.
Good morning, Edna, Harry.
Harry wants to talk to Tobias. I think that they should be alone. Perhaps.
Of course. Why don't we all go in the kitchen and make a proper breakfast?
Well, now, no, you don't have to.
Yes, we want to leave you to your talk. Tobias?
Yes.
We'll be nearby. Did you sleep well, Edna? Did you sleep at all? I've never had that bed, but I know that when...
Boy, look at them go. They got out of here quick enough. You'd think there was a... Morning, Tobias.
Morning, Harry.
You know what I'd like to do? Something I've never done in my life, except once when I was about 24.
No, what?
Have a drink before breakfast. Is that all right?
Sure.
Will you join me?
I guess so, yes. Oh, there isn't any ice.
Well, just some whiskey then. Neat.
Brandy.
No, oh God, no.
Oh, whiskey then.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, here's to youth again.
Yes. Doesn't taste too bad in the morning, does it?
No, but I had some before.
When?
Earlier, 3, 4, while you were all asleep or whatever you were doing.
Oh, you were awake, huh?
Yes.
I slept a little. God.
What?
You know what I did last night?
No.
I got out of bed and I crawled in with Edna.
Yes.
She held me. She let me stay a while. Then I could see she wanted to and I didn't, so I went back. But it was funny.
Yeah.
Do you like Edna, Tobias?
Oh, well, sure I like her, Harry.
Now, Tobias, about last night and yesterday and our coming here, Now,
I sat up all
I sat up
night.
all night and I
Thought about it, Harry. And
I was talking to Edna about it last night, and I said, "Look, Edna, what do we think we're doing?" I'm sorry.
I said I sat up all night and I thought about it, Harry. And I talked to Agnes too before you all came down. And by God, it isn't easy, Harry. But we can make it if you want us to. I can. I mean, I think I can.
No, we're going, Tobias.
I don't know what help. I don't know how.
I said we're going.
Yes, but you're going.
Sure.
But you can try it here, or we can. God, I don't know, Harry. You can't go back there. You've got to.
Got to what? Sell the house, buy another, move to the club?
You came here.
Do you want us here, Tobias?
You came here.
Do you want us here?
You came here.
Do you want us here? Edna and I, there's so much over the dam, so many disappointments, evasions, I guess lies maybe. So much we remember we wanted once. So little that we've settled for. We talk sometimes, but mostly, no, we don't like, oh sure, we like, but I've always been a little shy, gruff, you know, and shy, and Edna isn't happy. I suppose that's it. We like you and Agnes and, well, Claire and Julia too, I guess I mean, but I like you and you like me, I think, and you're our best friends. But I told Edna upstairs, I said, Edna, what if they'd come to us? And she didn't say anything. And I said, Edna, if they'd come to us like this, and even though we don't have, well, Julia and all that, Edna, I wouldn't take them in. I wouldn't take them in, Edna. They don't have any right. And she said, yes, I know. They wouldn't have the right. Toby, I wouldn't let you stay. You don't want us, do you, Toby? You don't want us here.
Want? What do I? What do I want? Do I want you here? You come in here with your wife and with your terror, and you ask me if I want you here? Yes, of course I want you here. This is my house. I want you in it. I want your plague. You've got some terror with you? Bring it in. Bring it in. You've got the entree, buddy. You don't need a key. You've got the entree, buddy. 40 years. Yeah, you don't need to ask me, Harry. You don't need to ask a thing. You're our friends, our very best friends in the world. You don't have to ask. Want, ask. You come for dinner, don't you? Come for a cocktail, see us at the club on Saturdays and talk and lie and laugh with us and pat old Agnes on the head and say you don't know what old Toby do without her. And we've known you all these years, and we love each other, don't we? Don't we love each other? Doesn't friendship grow to that, to love? Doesn't 40 years amount to anything? We've cast our lot together, boy. We're friends. We've been through lots of thick or thin together. Which is it, boy? Which is it, boy? Thick, thin? Well, whatever it is, we've been through it, boy. And you don't have to ask. I like you, Harry. Yes, I really do. I don't like Edna, but that's not half the point. I like you fine. I find my liking you has limits, but those are my limits, not yours. The fact that I like you well enough, but not enough. That best friend in the world should be something else. Well, more, well, that's my poverty. So bring your wife and bring your terror, bring your plague. Bring your plague. I don't want you here. You asked. No, I don't. But by Christ, you're going to stay here. You've got the right. The right. Do you know the word? The right. You put nearly 40 years in it, baby. So have I. And if it's nothing, I don't give a damn. You've got the right to be here. You've earned it. And by God, you're going to take it. Do you hear me? You bring your terror with you, and you come in here, and you live with us. You bring your plague. You stay with us. I don't want you here. I don't love you. But by God, you stay. 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 Please. Stay. Stay, please. Stay.
Harry, will you bring our bags down, please? Maybe Tobias will help you. Will you ask him?
Sure. Tobias, will you help me get the bags upstairs?
Poor Harry. He's not a callous man for all his bluff. He came to my bed last night, got in with me. I let him stay and talk. I let him think I wanted to make love. It pleased him, I think, to know he would be wanted if he said to me, he lay there in the dark with me, this man, and he said to me very softly, like a little boy rather, "Do they love us? Do they love us, Edna?" Oh, I let a silence go by. Well, as much as we love them, I should think. The hair on his chest is very gray and soft. Would we let them stay, Edna? Almost a whisper, and still again. Well, I hope he told Tobias something simple, something to help. We must impress our luck, must we? Test. Sad to come to the end of it, isn't it? Nearly the end. So much more of it gone by than left, and still not have learned the boundaries to what we may not do, may not ask, for fear of looking in the mirror. We shouldn't have come.
Now, Edna,
For our own sake, our own lack. It's sad to know you've gone through it all, or most of it, without that the one body you've wrapped your arms around, the only skin you've ever known is your own, and that it's dry and not warm. What will you do, Julia? Will you be seeing Douglas?
I haven't thought about it. I don't know. I doubt it.
time happens, I suppose, to people. Everything becomes too late, finally. You know what's going on up on the hill. You can see the dust and hear the cries and the steel, but you wait and time happens. When you do go, sword, shield, finally, there's nothing there save rust, bones, and the wind. I'm sorry about the coffee, Edna. The help must hide the beans or take them with them when they go to bed.
She's frozen.
Ooh, coffee and wine. They're much the same with me. I can't tell good from bad.
Would anyone, beside Claire, care to have a drink?
Oh, really, Claire?
Edna?
Oh, good heavens, Claire. Thank you. No.
Julia?
All right. Thank you. I will.
I think I hear the men.
We'll just take him to the car now.
Thank you, Agnes. You've been, well, just thank you.
Yes.
We'll be seeing you.
Yes, well, don't be strangers.
Oh, good Lord, how could we be? Our lives are the same. Julia, think a little.
Oh, I will, Edna. I'm fond of marriage.
Claire, my darling, do be good.
Well, I'll try to be quiet.
I'm going into town on Thursday, Agnes. Would you like to come?
Well, no, I don't think so, Edna. I've so much to do.
Oh, well, perhaps another week.
Oh, yes, we'll do it.
All done.
All set.
Harry, my darling, take good care.
Thank you, Agnes. You too, Julia. You be good.
Bye, Harry.
Bye, Harry. See you around.
Sure thing, Claire.
Goodbye, Tobias. Thank you.
Bye, Edna.
Thanks, old man.
Please stay.
See you at the club. Well, Edna?
Drive safely now, it's Sunday.
All
All right. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, here we all are. You all right, my darling?
Sure.
Your daughter has taken to drinking in the morning. I hope you'll notice.
Oh, I had one here somewhere. One with Harry. There it is.
Well, I would seem to have 3 early morning drinkers now. I hope it won't become a club. We'd have to get a license, would we not?
Just think of it as very late at night.
All right, I will.
I tried. I was honest. Didn't I? Wasn't I?
You were very honest, Father. When you tried.
Didn't I try, Claire? Wasn't I honest?
There you are. You tried.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
What I find most astonishing, aside from the belief that I will one day lose my mind, but when? Never, I begin to think, as the years go by, or that I'll not know if it happens, or maybe even has. What I find most astonishing, I think, is the wonder of daylight, of the sun. All the centuries, millenniums, all the history, I wonder if that's why we sleep at night, because the darkness still frightens us. They say we sleep to let the demons out, to let the mind go raving mad, our dreams and nightmares, all our logic gone awry, the dark side of our reason. When the daylight comes again, comes order with it. Poor Edna and Harry. Well, they're safely gone, and we'll all forget quite soon. Come now, we can begin the day.
Curtain.
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 Acquaintance.
Well done.
I like that play.
Very, very good and superb acting. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you.